All right, this is the copyright disclaimer. The copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Fair use, fair use, fair use.
I figured it out. Like I was sitting here really trying to figure out like what was it about myself that I was so attracted to dating white men. And I figured it out. It was just easier. There was no competition. Like they just saw me for who I was and they wasn't intimidated by my presence. And I find that with most black men, they are so intimidated by my light, by my strength, by my power, and they're in competition all the time. And I'm like, damn, like we in a relationship, like we supposed to be side by side, not competition. It was just difficult dating an unhealed black man. So for me, it wasn't about, okay, you're black and I don't want to date you. It was just that dating white men was just so much easier. They saw me, they made life easier. In my experience, dating black men made my life 10 times harder. Like even when I was in a relationship with them, it was work. It was so much work. The experience I had with white men, it wasn't work. It was whatever you want. It was supportive. Like, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Like, I want to invest in you. It was that. There was no competition. Yeah, but I was sitting here like, what the fuck? Like, why was I so drawn to dating white men? And now I figured it out. It was because it was easy. And then we can, always connect why it was easier for them. Well, why it's easier for white men to show up in their authenticity than it is for black men. But yeah, I figured that shit out. It wasn't because they were white. It was because it's easier. So black men, make it easier for us. Shit.
This is the book of Micah, chapter 7, beginning at verse 8, and it reads, Rejoice not against me, O my enemy. When I fall, I shall rise. When I sit in darkness, the Lord shall be a light unto me. Verse 9, I will bear the indignation of the Lord, because I have sinned against him, until he plead my cause and execute judgment for me. He will bring me forth to the light, and I shall behold his righteousness. Verse 10, Then she that is my enemy shall see it, and shame shall cover her which said unto me, Where is Yahweh thy power? Mine eyes shall behold her, now shall she be trodden down as a mire of the streets. Giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Bahashem, Raha Kakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well in teaching me this 100% truth. Salutations to them and my fellow Akim who labor in this truth week in and week out on the highways and byways. Also, salutations to the hopeful elect of the scattered 12 tribes of Israel, scattered to the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, also known as your Israelite foreigners, and your so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. To you, I say Shalom. This is your brother Ayashar Barazal from the Indianapolis branch of the Great Millstone, coming back at you with another lesson that is edifying to the elect body of the nation of Israel. All right, you saw that clip. Um, you know, Eve making her case while she's better off with Esau, and that's okay. But you try to be equal with the man, and you just can't. There's a difference between those relationships when a man does it and a woman does it. And I can look at her, and hey, that is an Israelite woman, by no mistake. So let's get into that. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7. I'm going to start at verse 1. All right. And again, this is talking to the Israelites. All right. The men and the women. Verse 1, and it reads, When Yahweh thy power shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and has cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites, and the Girgashites, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou. Verse 2, And when Yahweh thy power shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them. Verse 3, Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. Verse 4, here's the caveat. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai be kindled against you and destroy you suddenly. All right. So when you read this, there's a stark difference between an Israelite man um, dealing with a woman of another nation and the Israelite woman. Okay. The caveat for the man is that what it says here in verse 4, for they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. Okay. So will the anger of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai be kindled against you and destroy thee. All right. And for the woman, it just plainly says, do not give thy daughters unto their sons. Okay. Point blank, period. And why is that? Because your daughters, the Israelite daughter, when she is given to a man of another nation, she continues his seed line and not the nation of Israel. Okay. She continues his seed line. That's the way that works. Okay. Because in the line of the Israelite, Moses had a woman of another nation. In the lineage of our Lord, Yahushai, you had Tamar, who was a Canaanite, Rahab, who was a Canaanite, and Ruth, who was a Moabite. That never changed the status of our nation. Okay. 3 heathen women. There was no such thing as a biracial. Whatever the father is, that's what the child is. Okay. All seed bears after its own kind, even if it doesn't look like what was planted. All right. Let's make that clear. Because here's the thing: the law of seed never changes. You can take one packet of seeds planted all over of the United States, different soil types, different climates, okay, are going to affect how that seed springs forth out of the ground, but it never changes what was planted. And that's the case here. All right. And we have uh, examples of these 2 cases for the a woman being with a strange man, and an Israelite woman being with a strange man, and an Israelite man being with strange women. Okay. Sometimes, especially, you women are always saying that you want a man of God. Most of you don't even know that Jacob had a daughter by the name of Dinah. Okay. You hear about the 12 tribes of Israel. Okay. They were all sons of Jacob, the 12 sons, one daughter. Why don't you hear about the tribe of Dinah? Because you never know what nation she's going to bring forth, as in her case. All right, now we can find out about Dinah and what happened to her. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 34, beginning in verse 1. And Dinah, the daughter of Leah, which she bare unto Jacob, went out to see the daughters of the land. And when Shechem, the son of Hamor the Hivite, prince of the country, saw her, he took her and lay with her and defiled her. Okay. So that means he, saw her in the land and raped her. Okay. Now, according to the law, once a man goes into a woman, that's his wife. All right. But in the law that I just read, Jacob did not give his daughter unto him. He took her. Okay. So she would have continued the nation of the Hivites. Okay. And not the Israelites. So as you go on and read that story, hey, Jacob and his sons, the only way she was going to get out of that he had to be taken out. And he was. Because a woman is only free from the law of marriage when the husband dies. They had to take him out. You keep on reading this chapter and you're going to see that exactly that's what happened. Now, in the case with the man, this happened with our own King Solomon. First Kings, and notice the Hivite. That's one of those nations mentioned in Deuteronomy chapter 7, verses 1 through 6. All right. This is First Kings 11 and 1. And it reads, But King Solomon loved many strange women, together with the daughter of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Zidonians, and Hittites. All right. You see, the Hittites is one of those nations listed. Okay. Zidonians were also Hamites too. And then Moabites, that's your Chinese today. Ammonites are your Japanese. All right. And the Edomites, that's the so-called white women, white people, okay, of today. All right. Verse 2. Of the nations concerning which Yahweh Bashem Yahushai said unto the children of Israel, ye shall not go into them, neither shall they come in unto you. That's what I read, okay, in Deuteronomy 7. For surely they will turn away your heart after their gods. Solomon clave unto these and love. All right. That's exactly what that was, that caveat for the man that went into the strange women. Once again, Moses had a strange woman. All right. But he kept doing the work of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. All right. And as I said before, when you look in the lineage of Yahushai in Matthew 1, you had Tamar, a Canaanite, Rahab, a Canaanite, and Ruth, a Moabite, all strange women. But their husbands continued in the ways of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. All right. Verse 3. And he had 700 wives, prentices, and 300 concubines, and his wives turned away his heart. For it came to pass, when Solomon was old, that his wives turned away his heart after other gods, and his heart was not perfect with Yahweh his power, as was the heart of David his father. Okay. And then it's clear where he went. He says, and verse 5, for Solomon went after Ashtoreth, the goddess of the Zidonians, and Milcom, the abomination of the Ammonites. And Solomon did evil in the sight of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and went not fully after Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, as did David his father. All right. And then it says, then did Solomon build an high place for Chemosh, the abomination of Moab, in the hill that is before Jerusalem, and for Molech, the abomination of the children of Ammon. So man, he did a lot, you know. King Solomon did a lot to bring forth truth to that Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 1 through 6. And likewise did he for all his strange wives, which burnt incense and sacrificed unto their gods. Verse 9, and Yahweh Bashem Yahushai was angry with Solomon because his heart was turned away from Yahweh our power of Israel, which appeared unto him twice. All right. And he commanded him concerning this thing that he should not go after other gods, but he kept not that which the Lord commanded him. So Solomon went off. He went off. And then this is a conclusion here, verse 11. Wherefore Yahweh Bashem Yahushai said unto Solomon, for as much this is done of thee, and thou hast not kept my covenant and my statutes, which I have commanded thee, I will surely rend the kingdom from thee and will give it to thy servant. Okay, so that's the caveat for interracial marriages, the difference for a man and a woman of Israel. All right. So now, regarding that video, that woman said, what's so attractive? She didn't understand what was so attractive about dating a white man. Well, it's very simple. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1, beginning in verse 9. And it reads, the thing that hath been is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. Verse 10, is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It had been already of old time, which was before us. So in other words, as she is a bed wench now, she was a bed wench then. That's why she's so attracted to him. All right. She went on to say that, that man wasn't intimidated with her presence. Why would he be? We understand that they control the earth right now. Job 9 and 24. Even though he may not be of the elite, because of his status in society as a so-called white man, and then where they relegate us. I mean, we're low right now. As an Israelite man, but the ones who have this truth, we know what's about to happen and we see it, So go ahead and be with them, because we know how this works. All right. You need the Israelite man more than the Israelite man needs you. Okay. That Israelite man is your covering, Eve. You don't cover him. All right. Let's make that clear. See, you've been elevated in this wicked nation so much. You think you're on top. Okay. And that's part of the curses. Okay. That's part of the curses. This is Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 22. And it reads, how long wilt thou go about, O thou backsliding daughter? For Yahweh Bashem Yahushai hath created a new thing in the earth. A woman shall compass a man. She is going to oppose you in every direction. She's not going to submit to you. The heathen can bring out your femininity. Okay. But the Israelite man can't. We're dealing with this curse, in Deuteronomy 28. It says that her eyes shall be evil towards her husband. All right. I just did a video yesterday. We were talking about aborting, all black males from the womb to up to age 18. And shoot, was it Massachusetts just this week, recently, passed a law that you can abort the child after it comes out of the womb? This place is sick. And who's right there? Who was right there clapping? Eve. Her body, her choice. Okay? So it's cool. It's cool. You said he made life easier for you. That's for the moment. Okay? He won't be able to do a damn thing for you in that day of wrath. All right? And I can prove that. This is let's establish this first. Isaiah 4:1. All right. And in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. Okay? Eat your own bread, wear your own apparel. Hey, it won't be a question of 50-50 in that day. You gonna do it and ain't gonna say ain't and won't say shit about it. Because you're gonna realize what's more important is your salvation. Once you realize you don't have any covering, yeah. And this is this number, that's a complete number for that particular Israelite man that will be able to receive this. Okay? Or will have this option, in his life for serving the Lord. Okay, as he's supposed to. Yeah, he ain't have to worry about doing nothing for you, because now you're gonna realize that all them riches, all your degrees, all that stuff didn't mean nothing. Okay, it means absolutely nothing. And Esau won't be able to save you, because this is talking about an Israelite man right here. The Bible is only for the Israelites. It tells us about our enemies and what their end will be, but it is to, for, and by the Israelites. Okay? As inspired by Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. All right? Point blank, period. That's just the way it is. All right? So again, your top money jobs, again, your degrees, all of that is not going to mean nothing in the day of judgment. All right? None of that. You're going to be looking for a man to cover you. All right? And that's just what he's going to be, a covering in that day. But woe unto that woman, such as the one that was in this video. We're going to see how Esau can cover you. He don't have the Most High. Only the Israelite man does. Your so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and those who are scattered abroad that are of the seed line of Jacob. That's it. All right. This is Proverbs 11:4. Just what I was saying. Verse 4. Riches profit not in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivereth from death. All right. Who has the righteousness? The Israelite man. That's who the Lord is dealing with. All right. The Lord is dealing with the men. This is and this is just to prove that he has that righteousness. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 7. And starting at verse 25. And it reads, I applied mine heart to know and to search and to seek out wisdom and the reason of things and to know the wickedness of folly, even the foolishness and madness. Verse 26. And I find more bitter than death the woman whose heart is snares and nets and her hands as bands. It says, whoso pleaseth Yahweh Bashem Yahushai shall escape from her, but the sinner shall be taken by her. All right. And this uh, is a good precept for Sirach 26 and 23. I'm going to go grab that and come back. This is the book of Sirach or Ecclesiasticus, chapter 26, verse 23. And it reads, a wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man, but a godly woman is given to him that feareth the Lord. So in that day of judgment, if you wicked, you're going to be just like old girl that was in this video. You go into a wicked man, and in her case, is not only a wicked man, it is a man of the wicked nation that the Lord created. Yes, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, the wicked, according to Malachi 1 and 4. But you two work fine together because, what does it say? Sirach 25 and 19. It says, all wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. Let the portion of a sinner fall upon her. What's that portion of a sinner? Death. All right? Because you constantly breaking the law. Constantly breaking the law. Not that's what's going to save us in this time, but doing your very best to keep them and having faith. All right? And listening to a man of the Lord. You know, that's your ticket out of here. You know, if the Lord see fit. All right? It says, all wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. Let the portion of a sinner fall upon her. This is talking to the Israelite woman. And you hooked up with a man who is a nation of the wicked. And I'm saying this, you know, because, you know, we just got to make it clear, you know, everybody that appears to be white, if their seed line goes back to Jacob, you know, they're an Israelite, point blank, period. But she's very definitive on who she's choosing here. So you had the wicked of a nation, you know, Esau, Edom, and you have a woman who is wicked. All right. And the scripture here is saying that, you know, the nation that was created to be wicked, their wickedness is pretty much nothing compared to the wickedness of a woman. And we starting to see that. You know, I showed you that in that video yesterday. They was talking about aborting the babies. All right. So back to that Ecclesiastes chapter 7. All right. Back in verse 27. It says, behold, this have I found, saith the preacher, counting one by one to find out the account. Verse 28. Which yet my soul seeketh, but I find not. One man among 1,000 have I found, but a woman among all those have I not found. So Solomon took a survey here. Of 1,000 men, he found one righteous. Okay. Of 1,000 women, he found none. So you go back to that Isaiah 4 and 1, you know, a whole lot of y'all women are not going to make it. For every 1,000, there's that he's not going to find one. I mean, we know there's going to be some women that are going to be humbled down. But for every 1,000, that number improves for the man. Okay. She may get to, you know, a literal number of 7,000. All right. And in that same 7,000 men, you only gonna have 7. Come out of that. Yeah. Some of you rebellious ass women are gonna be left out in the dust, and you're gonna have a missile with your name on it, or you'll be taken away by a spirit of vengeance. One of those beasts with teeth. Something terrible is going to happen to you because you mock Yahweh Bashem Yahushai openly. Okay? And it says, Lo, this only have I found, that Yahweh Bashem Yahushai hath made man upright, but they have sought out many inventions. So yeah, we kind of, fall off to the wayside at times. Okay? But we get right back up. All right? Because, the righteous man has that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, but he's living in his flesh. All right? I think this is the next chapter, chapter 8, verse 20, if I'm correct. Or 7 and 20. Yeah, same chapter. And it reads, For there is not a just man upon earth that doeth good and sinneth not. And a just man is an upright man, an Israelite man. All right? That righteous man, who when you go back to Proverbs 11 and 4, righteousness delivereth from death. Okay? That Israelite woman has to be under that man in order to be saved. And in the right time, like that scripture said, Sirach 26 and 23, a wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man, which you saw in this video. That's what she wants. But a godly woman shall be given to him that feareth Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So you women that are doing what you're supposed to be doing, you got to worry about it. You're going to be all right. If you're one of the Lord's elect, just like we hope to be. But the earnest is really on the Israelite man. We have to do things to make sure that the Lord receive all the glory. All right, that's what the scriptures say. And if you don't see by now, that we are the people of the scriptures, just go ahead and keep doing what you're doing. Because it's at that point. I know the brother out of Kansas City, his video from yesterday, I'll put a link of it in the description box. He was kind of on the same thing. His video was titled Esau Can Have Eve Keisha, We Don't Care. His name is Elder Mahaloya, I believe. Slaki if I said that incorrectly. But his page is GMS KC Prophets 3, and I'll put a link to that video in the description box. All right, but yeah, that's where we are right now. There are like 4 prophecies left, according to Apostle Tahar. We don't have time to be messing around. The woman is the least of our worries right now. Those men who are worrying about that, they ain't got the truth. If the one that this is work out your own salvation with fear and trembling, and we can see now these Israelite women, if she's letting her lead, yeah, he's gonna die, point blank, period. Messing around with her. That's just the way it is. So, yeah, we don't need you. We don't need you to bring back the nation. The seed is with the man. All right. Showed you that yesterday in the video. You kill all the male babies, you kill off all the men, you destroy the nation. Why did they leave the women behind? So they could continue their nation. But you think you have an equal part, not to say that your part isn't important, but when it comes down to what that child is, whatever the father is, that's what the child is, no matter what that child looks like. But in this case, It's about salvation. And it's going to take an Israelite man to be the covering for that woman. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 13 and verse 12. All right. And the answer is verse 13, but I'm going to start at verse 9 because this is going into the day of judgment. It says, behold, the day of Yahweh Bashai cometh. Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai cometh. Cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate. That's America here. And he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. Okay? 2/3 of our people, as well as that heathen ESAU. It says, for the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light. The sun shall be darkened in his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. That's because of all the smoke from those nuclear missiles. All right. Verse 11, he says, and I will punish the world for their evil and the wicked for their iniquity, and I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and I will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. So that's 2/3 of our people, the nation of Israel, according to Zechariah 13 and 8. All right. And it says, and that's also the heathen nations, especially Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. You know, Isaiah 63 says when he comes back to cause destruction, he's coming to a land ruled by Edom. That's who the Lord is coming back to destroy. All right. But before he destroys them, they're going into slavery, twice as long and twice as hard as we were in slavery. All right. And here's the point. In that day, it says, verse 12, I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than a golden wedge of Ophir. So we're not only precious, but very scarce. That's why it's going to, it's going to have one man, for those 1,000 that are righteous, for every 1,000. All right. It's a whole lot more of you women than it is men. A whole lot more. All right. That's just the way it is. And that man, this man that he's going to make real scarce, he's going to be your covering. This is Isaiah chapter 32. Beginning at verse 1. It says, behold, a king shall reign in righteousness, and princes shall rule in judgment. Okay. That king is Yahushua. All right. And under him, King David and the 144,000 rulers and judges. All right. Verse 2, and a man shall be as a hiding place from the wind and a covert from the tempest. All right. He's going to be your protection in that day. Okay. As rivers of water in a dry place, as a shadow of a great rock in a weary land. All right. Your protection, keeping you at peace, keeping you nourished. Okay. Isaiah 65, it says, hey, his servants are going to eat. I'll get that too. He says, and the eyes of them that shall see shall not be dim, and the ears of them that hear shall hearken. Yeah, you're going to be like, oh shit, these are the men of the Lord. Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Yeah. But for those of you who mocked and scoffed at us, you ain't got nothing coming. You ain't got nothing coming in that day. All right. This is Isaiah 65. Beginning at verse 13. It says, therefore, thus saith Yahweh our power, behold, my servants shall eat. Who are his servants? The prophets. Amos 3 and 7. But ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. Verse 14. Behold, my servants shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart, and shall howl for vexation of spirit. All right. So, I was going to stitch some videos of those Edomites, unaliving all of those Jake women. But, don't need to do that. Y'all about to find out, because Esau's horns are coming out. And keep that same energy in that day, where he start fucking y'all up. Because it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I'm seeing more videos, being posted where they're taking y'all out with no impunity. All right. But that's what you chose. That's what you chose. The wicked man of all. So once again, Eve, dating, getting with Esau is not a flex. All right. So with that, I hope this lesson was edifying to the elect body of the nation of Israel. Once again, I'm going to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Raha HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well in teaching me this 100% truth. Salutations to them and my fellow Akim who labor in this truth week in and week out on the highways and byways. Also, salutations to the hopeful elect of the scattered 12 tribes of Israel, scattered to the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, also known as your Israelite foreigners and your so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. To you, I say Shalom, Kwam Yasharallah, Abba Babal. Shalom to you sincere elect brothers and sisters out there. We got next. Shalom.